Well, welcome to our Financial Freedom Masterclass. We're so excited to have you here tonight and to talk about finances and money and business in a different way that maybe we haven't talked about before in this setting. My name is Brooke Hemingway. I am a mom of 6 kids, ages 4 through 16 now. It's hard to believe I have a 16-year-old that is going to be getting his license and is soon going to be an adult. It seems quite crazy to me, but it's just proof positive that time flies. And time continues to go by, and we either can change our lives or we can remain in the same place. And I'd love to know in the chat if you feel like financially you've been in the same place for the last 2 years. Have you been in the same place for the last 2 years financially? Put a 2 in the chat if that's you. How about the last 5 years? Have you been in the same place for the last 5 years financially? Or maybe the last 10 years? Been in the same place financially for the last 10 years. And every year you say it's going to be different. And every year you think things are going to change, but you find yourself in the same financial place, maybe for 1 year, 2 years, 5 years, 10 years, maybe your entire adult life. And the problem with that is, as human beings, we were really designed to desire and want progress and growth. Is that not true? We want progress. We want growth. It's not about money so much as it is about seeing progress and growth. And when we don't see progress and growth in our life, which also includes our financial state and our freedom with our money, we feel kind of stagnant. We feel stuck. We feel discouraged. Have any of you ever felt discouraged when it comes to finances? Put a yes in the chat if that's you. I know that I have. I'm not in that place now, and I haven't been in that place for quite some time. But for the first 8 years of my marriage, I'll be married 24 years this Sunday to my sweetheart. But for the first 8 years of our marriage, we were broke as a joke. We were med students and going through residency. And I did not yet have a college degree when we first got married. So I made $7.25 an hour in Southern California. Just picture that. Oh, by the way, I was the main breadwinner. That was a 40-hour-a-week job for $7.25. And I had to pay the rent somehow in Southern California and put food on the table. It was a challenge. It was really stressful. And it didn't help that I was really good at blowing up cars because I would forget to change the oil. But that's another story. So anyways, I think we have all experienced the stress of what it feels like to not have the type of finances and income we want to live the life that we want to live, and to live without the stress of worrying about where that money is going to come from or how we're going to pay for that. And what we really have here is we all have a gap. We all have a gap. So let's talk about the gap. The gap is that space between where you are right now and where you want to be. Do you feel that there's a gap between where you are right now and where you want to be? And that gap can be felt in the experiences you're having in your life. It can be felt in the car you're driving that maybe is not the car you want to be driving, or it's on its last leg. Or that gap can be felt because you're always having to tell your kids, no, we can't go visit grandma and grandpa. No, we can't go to Disneyland. No, we can't get new tennis shoes. No, we can't do this. That gap is felt in looking at your bank account and being like, I don't really feel like I'm secure for retirement. Or that gap can come from, man, I would really love to create this experience and get my kid in that class or get my kid in that course, but I can't. How many of you guys have felt the pain of the gap? I think pretty much everybody has felt that pain. And sometimes it's a thing of necessity, and sometimes it's a thing that's a dream. And both are important. The things that are necessary that we need that take money, and the dreams that we have that may not seem necessary, but those dreams that we have that take money. And what we're here to talk about tonight is how to bridge the gap and how to decrease the gap and how to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Because here's the truth. There's only 2 ways to get more money. Okay, what are the 2 ways to get more money? I would love to hear your answers in the chat. What are 2 ways that you can get more money legally? Okay, 2 ways. Come on. This is the participation part of our call that I love. 2 ways. There's only 2 of them. Make more, work more, a job, lottery, sell it, earn it. Okay. I love it, you guys. The only way to get more money is to spend less or to make more. Spend less or make more. And I had a great conversation with a friend of mine today, and she's like, well, what would you tell people that say, they want to spend less? Like, how do you encourage people to spend less? And I'm going to give you just a really quick tip here tonight, because I want this call to be usable and tangible to you. Okay. We're not just going to talk about our business, our side gig, but think of this. I want you to open your credit card statement up, all of your credit card statements, your bank statements. I want you to highlight any subscriptions you have. How many of you guys are paying like an annual subscription for an app you never use? How many of you guys have a couple different workout apps? How many of you guys are paying for these different services here and there that you just forget about? And you're like, oh my goodness, there's $10 there. There's $20 there. There's $30 there. There's $40 there. I bet you anything you could do this and you could find $100 million that come out of your money every single month. Is anyone going to take that challenge? Anybody going to do that? Okay. This is one of the easiest things you can do to figure out where you're spending money, but it's not adding value to your life, or you're not doing anything with it. I used to spend money on several meditation apps, and I realized, you know what? I'm not really using those. I don't need to spend $10 a month for 3 different meditation apps that maybe I use once a month. So a good rule of thumb is, am I using this every week, multiple times a week? Okay. Right? Corinne, I just did that, still doing it. Okay. So if it's not something that's adding value to your life and you're not using on a regular basis, it's cut. You get rid of it, you take care of it, and you put more money back into your budget. And so we can spend less, right? But the other thing that we can do is we can make more. We can make more. Now, most of us are used to the traditional way of making more, which is what we did for years and years. My husband is a physician in the ER. And what he used to do is I called him like the ER whore. And I hope I'm not offending anyone by saying that, but he would literally work at one ER, drive straight to the next ER, and drive straight to the next ER without a break, without coming home. He would just farm himself out to all these different ERs, 24-hour shift here, 8-hour shift here, 12-hour shift here. And he would literally work more, because how many of you guys grew up in a family where you saw that? How many of you guys saw that? Okay, you need more money, you just do overtime. You do double time. You get a second job, leaving your family, leaving your husband, leaving your kids. You go get another job and you put in more hours. I worked as a nurse for 10 years. I would do overtime. I would pick up extra shifts, right? And so many of us have been programmed that that's the only way to make more money. The only way is if I double the amount of time that I'm taking away from my family, my life that I love, and I pour it into life-sucking work. But there are so many other options. And nowadays, I don't know if any of you have heard this term. My friend Cher told me about this term that I had never heard about. It's called the gig economy. Okay. So we now live in a time, and this is actually a term that's showing up in dictionaries. It's called the gig economy. And in the gig economy, it's basically this economy where it's becoming so much more normalized that people have multiple gigs. That's why it's called the gig economy. And so in the gig economy, you might have an Etsy shop. You might cut hair in your basement. You might have a network marketing business, and you might also be a fitness instructor at a gym. You have all these different gigs and all these different ways that you bring in $200 here, $500 here, your main full-time income of $4,000, and then $700 here. And so multiple gigs and multiple streams of income, thank goodness, are coming back into style. Here's the difference. What we have here with social selling and in network marketing is not just a gig, but it's a leadership development plan attached to a compensation that is residual. that doesn't rely on you taking 4 hours every night to cut extra hair in your basement, or you sitting there with your little plier thingies making 50 pairs of earrings that you can sell on your Etsy shop. It's different, it's revolutionary, and it is powerful. How did I harness the power of this financial opportunity? Well, almost 7 years ago in September, I joined For the Products, because 1000% are products that focus on gut health, blood sugar balance, inflammation, helping people with root healing, losing stubborn weight, getting rid of chronic issues. Our products that focus on that 1000% work. And I decided this is a product I could hang my hat on. This is a product I could build a business with. This is a product I could stand behind. And this is a product that literally everyone could use. Did you know that 133 million Americans have a chronic health problem? And that's supposed to be 200 million by the year 2030. Are people getting healthier? No. People are getting sicker. And the industry of health, whether it's in pharmaceuticals or supplements or fitness, is growing. Personally, I don't want to be on the pharmaceutical side. I've already been on the fitness side. I don't want to be teaching step aerobics at 60. I choose the health side. I choose the supplement side. We have a business that is incredible. And so I realized the power of that about 6.5 years ago, and I decided to jump in. And when I jump into something, I'm not like everybody. I do jump in all the way. And maybe you're a tiptoer, and that's okay. Or maybe you're the girl that wants to just fully jump in and submerge. Wherever you are, there's a space for you here. But I decided to jump in, and I looked at our life, and I looked at how my husband was working himself to death. And I was like, this is not sustainable. This is not healthy. This is not joy. This is not family as I had envisioned it. This is not the way that I thought my life would be. How many of you guys have ever thought that? This is not the way that I thought my life would be. This is not the scenario I thought I would be living in. And I could have had a pity party on the couch. I could have just had a pity party and cried like I had many years prior, feeling bad for myself, eating Ben and Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream because I really like Ben and Jerry's chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream. I had a thing for it before Plexus. Plexus kind of ruined that for me, but I could have sat there and continued to have a pity party. You know what I decided to do? I decided to get over my dang self, get off my butt, and do something about it. Instead of talk about it, instead of complain about it, instead of be miserable, instead of blame, instead of be a victim, I was like, I have this incredible product with this incredible business. I could do something with it, and I could change our situation. And over the last 6.5 years, I've grown a triple diamond business. I've retired my physician husband. We live a debt-free life, and we've been able to see over 30 people in our organization become six-figure earners. This is not one person succeeding. This is dozens of people making a lot of money, and hundreds of people making really good side income, and thousands of people making a couple hundred extra bucks a month. Nobody's suffering. Everyone's winning. So that's my story. And I'm excited to share some time tonight with Stephanie and with Julia. And I'm going to turn the time over to Stephanie.
That was awesome, Brooke. And so many thoughts came to me as you were talking. The first thing that really stood out is about why having a side gig helps with progress and growth. And that's what we're all looking for. I really, as I'm sure everybody on this call wants, I wanted to have an impact in my life. I wanted to have an impact in other people's life. I knew that there was more that I could do. One thing I was going to mention is I think that all of us have big dreams, but sometimes we go for those dreams because a circumstance kicks us in the butt to get there. And other times we realize the power that we have to choose it. When my husband lost his job about 16 years ago, that was a true answer to prayer, because we had some big plans for our family, some big things we wanted to do. And the job that he was at was just good enough pay that we didn't feel like we could get something better. but also wasn't even actually close to where our dreams were. And so he lost his job. And that was the best thing that ever happened to us, because then he started his own gig. And as business owners, we've been business owners for 15 years now. Our company is lucrative. We have done very, very well. It's a plumbing company. It's your traditional small business that we are very happy to have flexibility in. We're very happy that we make way more money than he used to. I wanted to mention one thing that came to my mind as I was preparing for this is I once heard somebody say that a salary is what the drug that they give you to help you forget your dreams. And maybe some of you are in that position right now. That's the position we were in. But let me tell you something I learned is that you generate power when you make a decision. Sometimes that decision comes out of desperation. Sometimes that decision comes out of choice because you see that there is something bigger and better for you. I believe I'm a God girl, and I believe that God wants us to be successful in our relationships, successful in our health, successful in our finances, and successful in our ability and contributions to others. I don't care how much money you have. Nobody is above having money coming in, trickling in without you directly working for it. And that's what Plexus has been. I truly, I wanted to tell you one of the things I looked up. If any of you could maybe just here in the chat, if you could tell me, would just even a $10,000 increase help you this year? Do you think that just with the way that our economy is, with gas prices, everything, might $10,000 help that edge of what you're feeling right now? Drop that in the chat, because what I wanted to do is break that down for you. $10,000 a year comes out to $27.40 a day. And let me tell you how easy it is to make an extra $30 a day, let alone a 6-figure or 7-figure income residually, when you're selling a product that you believe in, that people need, that solves a problem, and that it's affordable. And I can tell you right now, I, for one, and probably anybody else on this call who's in Plexus, can tell you that really none of us probably started thinking, hey, I'm going to start a residual income on the side selling these health products. I certainly didn't. I took it for a few years, and I realized that my opportunity to have impact in people's lives was right here in this company. My background is a holistic nutrition and fitness trainer. I've been passionate about health and fitness my whole life. And when I came across the Plexus products, it solved a problem that I had been struggling with. And it also was very clear to me that it was something that anybody can do. Some of the things I've done in my life, maybe some of the things Brooke has done as a personal trainer, aren't really within even the mindset of most people saying, oh, it's too hard, I can't do that. But I found out that as my family started taking these products, the ones who always complained about all the green smoothies I gave them, I found out that if they could do it and that they liked it and that they were seeing results quickly and it was affordable and not complicated, I knew that we were really onto something. And so whenever I think about this way of selling, social selling, I think, people sometimes have a bad taste in their mouth for social selling, but it's kind of weird if you think about it, because if you're buying from a friend, you're buying from somebody who is sharing the products with you because they have tried them and loved them. And newsflash, I'm sorry to break it to you, but like the Kardashians, they probably don't really use the stuff that they advertise. And newsflash, Santa Claus isn't real. Okay. I hate to be the one to break it to you. But when you're buying from somebody who uses the products, who's your friend that you've known, that you trust, you can be 100% sure that they believe in those products. Now, wherever you go to buy something, I don't care if it's Amazon, Walmart, or wherever, you are buying from some type of a pyramid. When you buy on Amazon, there's multiple people who are getting paid. And so that does happen in social selling. But the difference with social selling, especially in this company, is that we're selling a product where if you have a question about it, if you're having some symptoms that you're not sure about, if it's not working in the way that you had hoped it was, you have a whole line and team of people who have used the products, who have coached other people on the products, and are experts in helping you tweak it. Try finding somebody at Whole Foods Market or your local farmer's market or vitamin store who's making $15 an hour, who gives any bit of a care or it's any sweat off their back if it works for you. So I have loved doing this. This has been such a blessing in my life. It's not just the financial blessings, which have been mind-blowing for me, but it's also the opportunity that I have had to have an impact in other people's health, in other women's confidence, and in other people's financial security. I feel very blessed for how financially secure I am. I want other people to experience that. I also feel so blessed that I have a way to help people financially that will not deplete their time. And that is huge. So my husband and I, we've had a testimony of multiple streams of income for decades. We've always had multiple streams of income. Plexus is different though, because this is an income that continually comes in. And I literally fit into my day, the opportunities I have to talk to people. I'll put it on social media. I'll have people reach out. In fact, some of you on this call are probably people who saw me on social media, who felt something, who it spoke to them that they wanted something better for their life. And so right now, what I'm doing is something that's fun, that continues to build an income for me. When I was speaking with my husband about this and about the residual income and making that decision to start a business for yourself, he had something that I thought was really good. He said, when you first start, it seems sometimes overwhelming, which I have to say this business isn't. I mean, you basically invest $10 in a membership right now, or actually less if there's a special going on, and then you buy yourself a few products. That is basically it. You don't do any of the secretary work. You don't do any of the internet work. You don't do any of the marketing. You basically share the product, and your cost at running your business is so minimal. We've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars investing in our business, and we can't make money unless we do that. This is totally different. But once you get going on your business, when you offer a product that solves a problem for somebody, which Plexus totally does, and offers it to them at a great value, you don't really have to do a whole lot else except for continually show up with belief in your product and invite people. Because that is such a rare thing to find, something that's valuable and solves a product at a reasonable price. That's what we've got here. And it's kind of like a snowball, my husband said. You start out with a small snowball, but as the momentum gets going, that snowball grows and grows and grows. And before you know it, your snowball is really big. I started sharing the products about a year and a half ago, and have been very part-time and fully enjoying myself doing it. This has been a really fun thing for me to do. And my paychecks, my last paycheck, my last biggest paycheck was about $9,000. And that is literally, and that's in addition to all the trips they've put me on, all the shopping sprees they've given me, and all the fun that I've had. But I just want to say that if you are looking for something, if you are feeling that there's something better in your life, look no further. And let me tell you this, make a decision. When you make a decision, you generate power. And if you make a decision on Plexus, I can guarantee, if your experience is anything like mine, your potential for growing your income is not only going to be huge and so much fun, but also the women and men that you get connected with will help you grow personally. In fact, I kind of feel like this business is a personal development seminar or company that's kind of masquerading as a health food company, because my personal growth and development has been my biggest takeaway from this. And yes, my money is in the bank. Don't get me wrong, the money keeps coming, but the value here is the impact that I am having in my own life and in the lives of others. And it's such a blessing to have had this drop in my lap. But let me tell you, after my husband losing his job and having to start our business from scratch, I am now much more aware of opportunities for me to make that decision rather than waiting for that decision to be forced upon me because of desperate circumstances. And I'll turn it back to you, Brooke.
That was so powerful, Stephanie. I love that. You just pointing out how most of us don't make a decision until we're in desperate circumstances. And some people are in desperate circumstances right now. Today I was doing a little bit of research, and the average American has $92,000 in debt. Right? 77% of people worry about money. If you've ever worried about money, like I said, you commented here in the chat, 64% of people live paycheck to paycheck, meaning if they get sick or they get disabled or something happens, they're already in the red. We already know that interest rates are going up, right? Inflation is a real thing. Their interest rates are climbing, which means for a lot of people, payments are going to go up, or refinancing is not going to be an option. We know that gas has gone up 50% in the last year, right? Which is increasing the cost of our goods, our services. Our food is up 15 to 20%. I don't need to tell you this for you to know this, but it's like, where's that money coming from for you? Remember the gap. We have this gap where you are right now, where you want to be. You're being squeezed. A lot of people are being squeezed. And even if you do have the money, you're feeling this shift. I have a family of 8, 6 kids, 4 boys that eat a lot of food. And it's insane the amount of money we spend on food, because I want to be able to feed them well. And so having this side stream of income provides that relief that takes away the stress. And it is so simple. In fact, to break it down before I turn the time over to Julia, something as simple as you deciding to invest your $10 to begin your journey with Plexus, and then choosing a few products to start with, which, by the way, nothing that you can start with in Plexus is ever going to touch the cost of starting a lot of other social selling businesses. Our packs are so reasonable that anybody can start this. But you selecting your pack, let's say $100 or $150 on your pack of products that's going to help you feel better. And then you go out and you tell 3 people, and you have 3 people invest in their health journey. Already you're getting a return on investment of $400 just for doing that. Maybe you're a little bit more motivated and you're like, okay, I'm going to get the products. I want to feel better, but honestly, we've got summer camp coming up and I've got that bill coming up. I don't know how I'm going to pay for that. All right. If you're a little bit more motivated, you go and you talk to 9 friends, and we teach you how to do this. You're never on your own in our organization, but you go and you talk to 9 people and you're compensated with $1,100. What would you do if you had an extra $1,100 just dropped in your lap? That's how simple it can be. So I'm going to turn the time over now to my friend Julia, my dear friend Julia, who lives in California. She's going to share a little bit more about financial freedom and the income opportunity.
Hi, you guys. I hope you can hear me okay. My name is Julia Bender. I am a mom of 4. We have 3 biological kids and a little girl who's adopted from China a couple years ago. And that is part of my story. I didn't start the business to start a business like most people here. I had a photography degree. And so that's what I did. I did graphic design and photography on the side. That was enough. That was money. And it was good money, but it was never residual. So I would get like $1,500, $500, $3,000. Like those were good days. And then it would just kind of bounce all over the place. Or for 3 months, I'd have nothing. And then like Christmas time, I'd get a bunch of shoots and I'd make a bunch of money and I'd take the cash and we'd use that towards like a family trip. But initially I started sharing more and more because, like many of you, I realized that my health struggles, I kept most of them to myself. And I realized that if I was struggling specifically with mental health and inflammation health, but I was going to the gym and I was very social, that I bet there were a lot of women that just quietly had these really, really hard things going on in their life, and that I had a tool that could help relieve them. My son was really sick for a while when he was younger. He had febrile seizures and really bad infant asthma, and that put our family in a lot of fear. And I know truly that financial instability and scarcity, or your health, when it's really bad, can place this entire cloud of fear over your life, and pain and hurt and this like big uncertainty. And so to have those things heal and relieve, whether it's his seizures that went away, his asthma that's off his charts, my mental health in a better place, starting to develop these like core habits, turning off Netflix, starting to read books, using my brain. I would literally tell my husband, I think I'm getting dumber. And he would look at me and I'd say, seriously, you're doing all of these courses for the military and I'm watching A Horse Girl on Hulu while I edit pictures. Like my brain is like, I'm just talking poop all day. And so like, there I am. Then I shut that off and I start listening to a podcast, and I shut that off and I start reading a book. And I felt like I had something to say. And maybe you resonate with that. Like you're doing all the mom stuff and you stop going to school to pour into your family. And you're like, yeah, does anyone want to hear about diapers? Like, not really. But now I have something to say and I have something to contribute. My husband was gone a lot with the military. So he worked his tail off to advance faster than his peers by doing a ton of time away from his kids. And that is really common with a lot of our husbands, or even us as we work, that we work harder and harder and harder and harder to keep that money in a good place to provide for our families. And I remember him going to something during the pandemic where he was sleeping 3 hours a night. And I know Brooke can relate to this. And I looked at him and I said, I just kind of worry that you're going to get dementia. Like these are big things that we worry about when they're working this hard to get the money. And I just thought, what if I could contribute? Or if you guys know the military, they don't give you free trips. Like, no. So I remember seeing things and thinking, what if I could provide the free trips for our marriage? We didn't go anywhere for 15 years. It was always like, put the money towards something necessary, put the money towards necessary. And our marriage is failing. So if you're like, well, I would love to do those things with my husband, but we have to save up for a year or 3 years, or it's the one thing we do every year. What if it was like the thing that was paid for every year, that you got to go on this all exclusive vacation with your husband for 2 to 3 days, and you handed over your ID, paid nothing for the hotel, and you got to treat your spouse and the person that you love, or your child or your mom, to something from you. Like that was huge for me to be able to offer something really incredible and unique in a place that really lifted me up. So I want to relieve the load off my husband. I want to provide these trips. I want to say like, I can cover that, or I can pay for that, or, hey, from now on, my phone and our Comcast is on me because it's a write-off. So doing all of those things, and then just helping other families provide a different way. I was reading this book this morning that Brooke's having us read on a book club. And the first line says here in the first page, you were not born to be average or ordinary. You were born to do something great with your life. I have felt that since I was 19. And if that's something you have felt and been like, so maybe it's just this, or maybe it's just this, but there's something aching in your heart, there is an incredible opportunity here to do something really great with your life. That your story, your hardships, all of the things that you have been through are not for nothing. And there's a way that you can impact a large group of people and do a lot of good with a lot of money. And I believe that God wants a lot of money in the hands of good women. There's a lot of money in the hands of a lot of people, right? And they don't do a lot of good with it. But what would you do if you had $5,000, if you had $10,000 in your bank that was extra? Who would you help? Who would you bless? Who could you say yes to? When something comes in your life, how can you say, I can help, I can do that? And how would that feel? And I want you guys to really think about that. Like, put in the chat, if you had $10,000 today, is there somebody in your life that you could be like, I can help you with this? Can I help my mom get a new car? Can I help fly my family out for a week? Could I pay down debt for somebody that I love? Could I tell my spouse, hey, that car payment on your car that you love, or on our car, I'm going to clear that out, like as my gift to you. Help my parents. Yeah, keep throwing those things out. And I want you to see what it would feel like and actually visualize the thing that you would do with the money, and then work towards making that happen. Because this isn't just for people that are like doctors and lawyers and really smart people. This is for you. This is for every single person that just wants to empower other women and families to succeed and to be self-sustaining, and to like be able to take a deep breath and take care of the people that they love. So that's my thoughts. And just know that you were put here for a reason. You came on this call for a reason. Don't shove it off and be like, I just don't know. Who cares? Like, you cannot know and still do it, right? You cannot know and be like, who am I to do this? But I'm going to do it anyways. Because who are you not to do this? You are worthy and deserving of all the good things that you could ever imagine in your life.
I love that so much. And specifically when you said take a deep breath, because to me, financial freedom feels like being able to take a deep breath and being able to just exhale and relax and know that everything is going to be okay, and know that you're going to be able to take care of those that you love, and you're going to be able to give. And financial freedom is really about having options and choices and margin. And that's what this business opportunity provides. And the coolest part about it is you get to align with a company, with a product that you know actually helps people, that people need. It's not you just deciding to pick some random thing because there's a great compensation plan and you can hustle and make some money with it. With this business, as you've heard, even with Julia's story, you have an opportunity to impact people on one of their greatest problems, which is health. And health and wealth go hand in hand, right? When you're healthier, you're wealthier. When you don't have the wealth or the income that you need, you're typically not as healthy. And so these two things go hand in hand beautifully in this business. So if you feel inspired, if you feel encouraged, even if you're currently building a business, we hope that this call has inspired you to take intentional action. If you're not building a business and you've been looking for something and feeling like something was missing, I want to encourage you to connect with the person that invited you to this call. And I want to encourage you, like Julia said, to be okay with not knowing every step, to be okay with not knowing everything that you're supposed to do, but to just trust that feeling that you have that this is a good place, that you could build an incredible financial home here, and that you could have a beautiful stream of income that would help you to not only pay for the necessities like the gas that's 50% more and the groceries that are 20% more, but also for that dream and that trip you've always wanted to take your husband on, or that house that you don't want to live under a mountain of debt, that this business opportunity can absolutely do that for you. We're so grateful you're here. We have training, we have support, we have encouragement for you to help you on your journey if this speaks to you, and we look forward to helping you. Thank you so much for being here tonight, you guys.